I think they can win a treble, but there is one trophy that I don't have them as clear favorites for.
Your dominance from Liverpool yesterday. Mohamed Salah, he had that stunning penalty goal and an assist. And here's a look at who's got the most goal contributions in Europe's top 5 leagues, and it is Mo Salah by a decent margin. He's got 8 more than Rafinha in second, 44 on this season. This guy has just been on fire, and really this entire Liverpool team has been on fire. Watching the game yesterday, Liverpool were just a level above from the opening whistle against Tottenham, and the way that the final scoreline shook out at the end honestly was reflective of the game that we saw played on the pitch. The question now is, can Liverpool go and truly compete and perhaps even win all of these titles that they are in contention for? They have a chance, Nico, to go and do the quadruple.
They can. I mean, they showed it, and we knew this. We didn't learn anything new after yesterday.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily say that Liverpool were above Spurs. Yes, of course they were better than Spurs. I see it the other way around. Tottenham were so below Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool were at where they always are.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think they felt like they shifted into 5th, 6th gear. They kind of waited it out. Their goalkeeper was never tested. They felt each other out for the first 20, 30 minutes, and then they got the goal. And then after that first Hakpo goal goes in, it felt like Spurs had no chance in that game. They never turned it up. You could tell that there was this aura about Spurs that they could never really get into the game. In an elimination match, in a cup game where you kind of had to go for it, they never ended up going for it. So Liverpool are where we knew they were. Darian said 4-0 yesterday. I said 3-0.
I said 3-0 as well.
And
3-1.
But not even that.
My coffee was spiked. 3-1.
And
clearly.
Yes, of course, Liverpool can compete. They're an extraordinary football team. Yes, they can compete on all fronts. But yesterday's Spurs, it felt like they let themselves get trampled over by this Liverpool team.
So even though we all did predict a Liverpool win by, a pretty lopsided scoreline, Lahoud, were you surprised at just the gulf in difference between the quality in both these sides yesterday?
I was surprised at the mentality difference, and that was what this really came down to. We can talk about the X's and O's, but this was really a gulf in mentality. You have a Liverpool side that has championship mentality, players that have been there, done that before. There was a bit of arrogance, and this match changed on its head when one of the youngest players on the field, who's been one of their unsung heroes in seasons past, you look at their run to the League Cup, the Carabao Cup, they're the holders, they're the reigning champions. A player like Connor Bradley, there was a challenge that he had on Yin-Min Sung where he kicked him, claimed right through him, kept the ball in, and as soon as one of their youngsters did that, everyone else just had their chest puffed out. And this is a group of players that, with the distractions of things that are happening off the field in terms of the contracts, I mean, this is a side that is the best football club in World Football Club right now, and they're playing like it.
They're the favorites in 4 different competitions at the moment. If you had to make your call right now, how many trophies are Liverpool going to win this season?
I mean, Carabao Cup, they're the favorites, without a doubt. Yeah. Newcastle are great. That's an underrated final, I feel like, just because it's the Carabao Cup. But just say they win that, they're going to win the Prem. They're odds-on favorite to win the Prem. They should win the Prem. At this point, if you don't win the Prem, it feels
something
like
really bad happened.
You bottled a significant lead. Like Liverpool at this point should be wrapping this up. So minimum 2. And if you had to pick out of all the teams in Europe, if you had to pick someone to win the Champions League, there are few that I think if I give you $500, a lot of people would put their money on Liverpool. And obviously, they're probably the easy pick because there's a lot of logic in them saying you can go out and win all of these trophies. And if it was like an Arsenal or if it was like an Inter, fighting on multiple fronts is not an issue for Liverpool. They've shown it before that they can do it. And they have a team that has shown that consistency. So minimum 2 trophies.
Minimum 2. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think they can win a treble, but there is one trophy that I don't have them as clear favorites for. It's the UEFA Champions League. look,
Yeah,
they finished top. They finished top.
No one is clear favorites in the Champions League. No one is clear.
They finished top. They finished top of the
tournament.
league phase, but this is the most parity that we've seen in the Champions League than ever before. So if there's one trophy that is going to be,
how can you say that?
Well, I say that in terms of, were you wowed by any Liverpool performances outside of Real Madrid?
A bit.
They seem like they were, outside of that match, they seem like they were in cruise control for a lot of the matches. I think that we're going to see an uptick in terms of competitiveness, in terms of parity in the knockout round. It's what European competition at the highest level does. So if there is a trophy where I could see them not winning it, that's it. But it's the UEFA Champions League.
Right.
I mean, season in and season out, we see the favorites who crush it. Bayern Munich can tell you how it's done, where they crush it in the group stages. They crush it in what is now the league phase, and then it doesn't go their way because teams like Real Madrid tend to turn it up. But that's the only tournament and competition I can see.
But that's the nature of the Champions League, right? No team or no manager has the obligation to win the Champions League, to have a deep run and to perform well in Europe. Not even Pep. I think it's for all that Manchester City invests at the beginning of a season, you tell them, hey, you have to win the Champions League. We've discussed this a lot, right? Pep not getting to a final, Pep falling short of a significant stage of the Champions League, it feels like failure. But it also feels unfair to obligate, make it a 100% assurance that you're going to win a tournament like the Champions League because of everything that you just say. It's a very dynamic, unpredictable tournament where there's always 5, maybe 6 teams that on any given day can beat each other in the Champions League. And that's why Champions League would be cherry on top, would make an extraordinary season superlative. Imagine Arne Slot going out and winning a treble in his very first season when Mikel Arteta's been sitting.
Okay, why do we have to bring Arsenal into it? Jeez, Nico, come on.
No, I'm just saying.
Complain about inflated balls or whatnot.
It's a crazy comparison because I don't mean to smash Arteta down. I rate him as a manager. Arsenal has shown incredible progress under him, but no one expected it. It was completely out of left field for a manager coming from the Netherlands, and there was a previous manager from the Netherlands that was very highly rated coming into the Premier League. That was Erik ten Hag. Mm-hmm. So that kind of set a precedent. All right, for Arne Slot to come in, and no one really had him on the radar to perform as Liverpool are performing.
We were just talking about Liverpool and can they do the quadruple, but before we pick up the Carabao Cup and hand it to them, they do play a team, Newcastle, in the final, a team that they drew 3-3 to, and it was a hell of a match. And you could argue Newcastle exposed a couple vulnerabilities in Liverpool's side. So looking at this Carabao Cup final that's now set at Wembley coming up, how can the Magpies really get after them and get that coveted trophy?
Well, Eddie Howe is a superb tactician. The fact they've got that 3-3, which you've already mentioned as well, in their back pocket is a huge feather in their cap. And what he did against Arsenal, what he did so well, Lahoud, was he set traps. He set traps all over the pitch. Now, let's be honest, Liverpool are a much better team than Arsenal right now, certainly on the evidence of Arsenal against Newcastle United. So they'll think about the way they set up and he'll do something different. But equally, Arne Slot is such an adept coach as well. He can alter accordingly. But I just think it's a fabulous, fabulous final that is there for the taking. Two really entertaining teams. And I think we're going to get a great, great game. And I don't think that Liverpool will take Newcastle lightly. You know, they know that they are an opposition to be respected. Virgil van Dijk said after the game, he said to Troy, he said, I don't watch a lot of football, but I watched Newcastle last night and he was really impressed by them and the way that they played.